How you always had to say that you saved me? Yeah, for the blunts and the Asian. No, I'm losing on your touch, I'm impatient. I know I'm losing myself for the hatred.
All right. Hey, welcome back to the Talk NOLA, the Underground Network. As always, I'm your host, Julio Aviel IV. And today we are joined by XX Crab Claw. I mean Brax.
No, that's real as fuck. Come back as fuck.
Man, do you remember any of those old lines from those middle school days when you were XX Crab Claw?
Dude, yeah, I remember, and it was like, I don't remember all of it, but I definitely remember, like, we had, it was a transition between, like, when Brax and, like, all the middle school shit. That's what we did, Jackie Brown. And it's like, I used to do this, like, generic trap, and that's used to be the whole, like, conversion between this, like, XX Crab Club was, like, this boom bap kind of, I want to be, like, the old school 90s style.
No, that's really cool.
It was just, try to put me on lockdown like I was Jackie Brown.
Oh man, our most recent guest, Ecstasy, she was really big into boom bap when she was first starting. So it's interesting.
Yeah,
that
I feel
you
like a lot of artists when you first start out, especially with rap, it's always super like you start out with boom bap just to get like maybe the foundation. Even.
Exactly, get that feel for it.
You start going, the more like creative you get with it.
Man, what's the story behind Crab Claw? You know, because you made this transition starting as Crab Claw in middle school, then you made your journey as you're currently Brax.
It was a school. So I went to Belchase Primary, and then I went to Holy Cross, and then I went to Belchase High School.
Mm.
But when I went to Holy Cross, I had to take my music down over some shit because it was like it's like slandered the school or like it would affect their reputation if some bullshit would happen.
Was it like a religious thing?
It was just like a private school thing because they're not like a public school. I don't know what the fuck it was, but they were just like, you got to take it down or else you're gonna get kicked out. And so, like, when my people, like, yeah.
And this was in Belchase.
No, this is at Holy Cross.
That's in New Orleans.
Yeah, that's a private
like right
school
here.
over here. Yeah, that's a private school over here. For middle school, I went there, but for primary school, I went to Belchase Primary, and then I switched back over for high school.
Right. So for the listeners that don't know, Belchase is just right over the bridge in the West Bank, about 20 minutes from New Orleans.
Yeah.
But we like to consider that New Orleans. You know, you're in the scene, you're making moves for yourself. But tell me what it was like growing up in Belchase. You know, tell me about the music scene if there was one at all.
I mean, Belchase is really just a small town. Like, really, it's literally just a small town. Like, everybody works at the plant or some shit like that. And then, I mean, a lot of people, it's kind of like, not Pensacola, but it's one of them towns where if you move there, you work there your whole life, you have kids there, and then you're born there and you die there, you don't leave the town. It's one of them small towns.
Did you have to find your own influences elsewhere?
Yeah, and especially because, like, where we are right now, just as, like, a society, the internet and stuff, that's really what helped me, and, like, it's also what helps everything we're doing right now. The fact that we have an interweave scene between here, Texas, Pensacola, and all them places. I think the internet definitely helped compared to, like, if we didn't have the internet at all and it was just me in a small town with absolutely nobody.
Small town, yeah, okay, small town, but big time dreams, man. So were you like the kid in class instead of taking notes, you were like writing lyrics or like drawing? Because I know you had a big drawing phase.
I used to always draw.
Yeah, you had a big drawing phase.
I drew a lot. I used to draw
before you got into music.
Yeah.
What would you like to draw? Like
I just kind of drew everything.
Abstract? Okay.
It was more abstract because, I don't know, I was dyslexic and I had ADHD, but, like, it was definitely abstract compared to, like, I don't know, just drawing some realist shit. But everything was definitely abstract. It was just all sketches, though.
What's really cool about you and yourself as an artist is that your branding is very cool. Like your name, Brax, if you look at his website online, you know, he has his own, you know, really cool font. So are you responsible for like your own graphic designing? Are you responsible for designing like your merch? Because you have your CDs, you have your Brax patches.
I sketch, well, like, okay, for the cover art, that was from a show in Cali that we took photos at during or right after the show. And then we did the editing. I mean, I don't know how to do Photoshop, and, like, I do all the planning and the sketching behind it, but I don't know how to do everything myself.
Are you a one-man? Are you got all of this? You're running everything?
I mean, yeah, I'm a one-man army, but, like, I also have to pay the graphic designer $45 to do my design that I sketch on the paper. So it's, like, I'm a one-man army, but I don't make everything in store. But everything is usually local. Like, the guy who makes my clothes is from Slidell. The person who's doing my graphics right now is from right here in New Orleans, pretty much. Shout out Victoria. But, yeah, just kind of getting through with it. I do all my booking by myself, though. But it's just getting on with it. DIY or die.
DIY or die, man. I love that. That's one thing that really stood out to me about you is when I was really getting into the research to get ready for this interview. You're very much into DIY or die. You know, speak on that, man. You're really into like the house shows, and are you playing much venues?
Yeah, we play a bunch of. Well, here, what happened here is I kind of got fucked over because I'm 18 right now. And so a lot of places like Siberia and shit, you got to be 21 plus, and like you got to be 20 plus to perform and go to shows because of the laws down here.
Right.
So I just kind of got fucked like that because I was 17 starting out. I didn't have no fake ID at 17. But yeah, so I was just kind of getting through. Like, that's why we always perform at Zeitgeist, and like that's why I want to do more house shows down here because that's really the shows that everybody can come to. But that's why I went out of state so fast because I didn't have any much of venues to play down here, and there wasn't like a bunch of opportunities because rap scene down here, how I was telling you earlier, how it's like, and it's not bad that it's virtual and it's internet based, but it's a lot more internet based than live shows where yes, there's live shows, but it's like 1 to 4 live shows a year where it's not like there's not constant live shows like the metal scene and scenes like that where it's like there's a live show every weekend. It's like there's one big live show or there's a couple big live shows throughout the year.
So how do you think the local New Orleans scene can fit and cater more to the hip hop and cloud rap genre?
I think it's just about a lot of love. I think there's not a lot of love in the scene, and like a lot of people could work together, and they're just not. Does that make sense? Like if people just started working together and got over their differences, just like we'd get along. And we can make it work. But until everybody wants to make it work, and until there's other people, like, they can't only have 1 or 2 people booking every show for the rap scene over here. They need to have a community. Because that's like, every scene is a community.
Who would you say is currently a part of this small niche community?
I know there's Lonzo, there's Sta,
Shout out.
Swamp Bane from Hammond. I wouldn't even consider New Orleans lean. I kind of I'm stumbling. I consider it like a Louisiana scene because I mean Swamp's from Hammond, but he'll come down here to do shows, and we haven't done a show in Hammond yet, but we definitely want to. But like we're doing shows here, even if we're not from here. But definitely, I'd say it's a southern scene. But here, definitely like Lonzo, Sta, Teasy, Popstar Slime, Spider-Man. There's a bunch of people that I can think of, but shit.
Teasy, that name's familiar. That's bounce music, huh?
Teasy the Kid. I mean, I think he's made a few bounce songs, but it's he's worked with Lonzo before.
Okay, cool.
But
cool,
yeah,
cool,
and then there's Lil Reezy too, and there's a bunch of like even like more boom bap styles, but there's a bunch of rap down here. It's just all virtual.
Oh, okay. Hold on. What do you mean virtual? Because you keep alluding to social media, but how would exactly would that work?
Like, I guess that's what I mean. Where it's like it's more internet based. Where like it's more influencer wise. Where like these people are influencers and less like they're basing their career off live shows to build their audience. They're kind of basing it more off Instagram Reels and stuff, which isn't bad. But it's just 2 different types of scenes. Where there's a bunch of artists down here, but there's a few big events. But it's not like there's a live scene down here that's like every weekend there's a rap show at this and this venue.
Yeah, I follow. I mean, where do you in the U.S. you think is really doing that and doing it effectively?
Houston. I feel like Houston. L.A. is cool, but L.A. is just like you got to know somebody to get in, and it's super expensive. But like closest to us down here, I definitely say Houston. It's a 5-hour drive, which really isn't that bad. If you had to, you go and you can come back in one day.
Got you. Well, hey, so we're here today. We're trying to let's talk about New Year, same misery. Okay, so we opened up the episode with the song, and man, that guitar riff in the beginning it's really giving me Deftones, you know. And listening to some of your older music, going back to like Blue Thoughts. I mean, man, the sound has evolved, man.
Yeah, nah, that's what I like about my stuff because I've said in like other interviews and stuff. But my music is just all self journalism, where like. even with like that's why I have Mac Miller because he's such an inspiration. But Mac Miller's work, you watch him grow up through being like a teenager and starting with songs like Nike's on My Feet and stuff, and then he goes into circles and now like balloonerism. So you watch him grow up, and like that's kind of the goal of my music is just to like be a self journalism for me and to reflect on myself and express how I feel at the moment. Because I'll never feel how I felt at 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 to now where I'm 18.
What's interesting about you and what I find to be very unique about you is that you want to be the face of teenage mental health, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking about Mac Miller and inspiration. I know you're a fan of Jim Morrison, okay? What is it about him that draws you in? Do you see any parallels between his experience and yours?
So what really got me into Jim Morrison was an alcoholic. And when I was like younger, or like in my high school, I was really bad with alcohol. Like we were drinking like a 1.75 liter of whiskey in like a day on a Saturday and a Friday.
How old are you here?
And then like 14, 15, this is just like just like going, we're all just like little hooligans, you know, we're 20 minutes away from New Orleans. We go drive over there because our friends are like sophomores, like seniors. So we go drive over there, just go run havoc.
Yeah, act a fool with your friends. You know, as long as it's with your friends, you know.
Yeah, but then it's like, you know, shit fell through and you're like, damn, maybe I'm drinking a little too much and maybe I'm shaking and like maybe I can't stop. So it's just one of the things like I try to keep it real. And that's something that super got me into Jim Morrison was just to see like his problem wasn't like painkillers or something. Cause I mean, like I've done painkillers before and shit like that, but that wasn't like my main problem. Like my main poison was alcohol at that time. And it was like, that was definitely for me, my worst, like going through it was definitely alcohol.
What role did music play in helping you, you know, overcome these problems and really get you in a clear headspace where you're a tour musician and you have your stuff together? Well more put together than you did a few years ago, to add to what you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't have my shit together. Definitely, like that's
hey,
that's one
like,
whole thing.
No
yeah,
one does. Like super locked in, but like, hey, you're in a good spot right now.
Yeah,
just keep it moving.
You just gotta keep it moving. But I'm definitely not like in the best headspace. But I think if it wasn't for music, really, I probably would have killed myself. I mean, like I've tried to before, and I've been in the mental hospital, and like that's what whole Blue Thoughts 4 was about. Xan from the mental and all that shit was like I just came out the hospital working on music, and then bam, that was the project that came out of it. But yeah, I think if it wasn't for music and I didn't really find a way to express myself, or like, because that's my whole thing right now is like I'm getting older. I understand I'm still in college, but like if I fail, this shit's all just a book. And, like, that's that. It's all autobiography, and I mean...
So if you said if all this fails, it's like a book. So it's like closing a book, like, if it happens, like... If I
succeed,
that, what do you
okay,
mean?
like, literally, if I fail and everything falls through and I never blow up or nothing, and, like, I'll just write a book about it, and, like, literally, like, this is all, like, the same way that I capture everything through self-journalism and the music, and, like, literally put that from music to paper... But, like, this is the only thing I want. This is the only thing I'm going for.
A literal book. Okay, I thought you were using a metaphor. I was like, hold on. What do you mean by that?
I mean, yes, but no. I mean, I guess metaphorically wise because, like, the music's a self-journalism. So I guess in a way it could be a book. But, I mean, like, actually, I'd write this shit down into a book and just, like, capture the story and then be done. That's it.
So, you are... I would say classifying you under a genre. You're a hip hop. You're a cloud rapper. You know?
I'd put it under. Well, I'd say cloud rap for people that aren't into like the niche genres of stuff. But if we're going down to like the subgenre and like what we're trying to do, Swamp Bane, Snowman, and like all them, I'd call it Southern cloud rap because that's really what it is cloud rap from the South. So Southern cloud rap.
That's
I mean,
cool.
it's not like we sound like cloud rap, like Smoke Dope 2016's cloud rap. And I mean, I don't have a sound that's like Smoke Dope. I have my own little sound going for me. Swamp has his own little sound going for him.
I mean, you got like your hazy vocals. You know, that has become part of your signature sound, without a doubt. So was that something that you were always drawn to, or did it come naturally to you as you were developing your style?
So that got in because, like, in my young work, where it was like 2020 to like 2021, I was more like doing aesthetic rap. If you know, like One and Only, It's a smaller genre, but yeah, it's called aesthetic rap, and like it was the way you recorded was you recording 1 to 2 to 3, 4 vocal channels, and then I didn't do 3 or 4. I just always kept it to 2, and then I got really into Lucky. I'm a big fan of Lucky, and he always keeps his vocals super simple, which is why I don't do anything like super complex, where I'm always doing like auto tune or some shit like
Yeah.
E, where it's like super complex engineering. It's just simple and it's raw. And my goal is just kind of keep it real and have that like element of realism with it.
That's your motto, because like the way you're hearing it in the studio, like that's how you're gonna hear it when I'm playing it live in front of you.
Yeah.
I mean, like you're known for like not using auto tune and being real and using very minimal layering and effects. So do you just like to go with the flow and rely on the raw emotion? Like what's that creative style like? How do you get into the studio and put lyrics on paper and put those lyrics into a song?
I think the longest thing for me is definitely because I don't work with a bunch of producers, so I'm constantly scrolling through YouTube looking for free for profit beats, just scrolling. Because I like, even though it's all free for profit, I'm still picky, and I'll sit there for 3 hours before I find the right beat, and then I'll start writing to it and stuff. But everything's not like, it's not a studio. It's just like me in my bedroom with the microphone that I have, just expressing how I feel and like what's going on in my life.
So, like we mentioned earlier, you're very DIY or die. You know, in 2020, you're 14 when you came out with Blue Thoughts?
Yeah.
Man,
yeah.
You had 845 streams in a year. Fast forward 2 years into 2022, you're at 146,000 total streams for the year. I mean, that's insane growth, especially for DIY. I mean, at 16 years old. What do you think made that difference in that progression from Blue Thoughts into fast forward 2 years later?
It was definitely the internet. So that's when TikTok was popping, and that's when I was telling you about aesthetic rap. You remember Mass Mortal?
Yeah.
When he had his playlist going, and he had an aesthetic rap playlist. And so like me and all my homies do you know like 666 Swish?
No, I don't know.
He's underground, but he's from LA. But me and a bunch of like my homies and people I knew who were doing aesthetic rap were working with him to get on his playlist.
Yeah, I knew. I was just gonna say
those
that.
type
Did you get on his
promotions.
playlist?
So yeah, that's how we were popping. Is like, because I used to have like 8,000 monthly listeners back then, and then that transition of going from an internet artist where I didn't do anything live or do any type of like local promotions. So like, hey, I want to start here, and then after I found out that like there's a scene, but it's not worth sitting here for a year or two and trying to like really do like build this scene up, and that I can expand to do better and bring people into the scene too to help. So that's what I did. And then that transition of like going from strictly internet to live and internet, and finding that balance between being a live show and an internet artist.
Was there a moment where you felt, things really started to shift? Like what song pushed it over the edge and got your attention, or there's a change in the way that you approached the music?
Shit. I think it was definitely it was low key. It's kind of, I don't like the song no more because it's super like hype. It's super up and it's hypey, but it was simp. It was definitely simp because it was like you're but generic fucking aesthetic rap song.
Is that when that word came back, simp?
Yeah, no,
when
it was popping. It was just like,
yeah.
I'm out there, Sunny Zans, I'm out shit okay, rock, right outside. Like it was just a generic, like just fun, bouncy song, and that's really what had it like started the ball rolling.
Speaking of keeping the ball rolling, it's really cool because watching people cover your songs on drums and turning them into like this kind of alternative rock style.
Yeah.
Man, what's your take on that? Because that was the coolest thing.
No, I fuck with it heavy, and I fuck with, I don't know if you saw it, but in Pensacola, when we had, shout out White Phosphorus, they're a band from there, but we had them play Memor Man from Blue Thoughts 4.
Okay.
We had them play Memor Man, which is the one, I just feel stuck. No luck, yeah, singing on my head, but I want your help. And it was just like, it was super dope because it was like this Molchadova song. I don't know if I said that right, but I don't know if Molchadoma.
I don't know either, to be honest, but we're going to roll with it. We're just going to roll with it.
It was just like that, and it was super punk because White Phosphorus is like a punk kind of band. So I just fucked with it heavy, and I love working with bands because I love the mixed genre shows. But like to get there and like low key, I want to be the front man of a band because I like doing a bunch of shit.
Like a band, like
Dude,
guitar,
like a band,
bass,
yeah.
drum. Okay, so you're thinking about leaning into like a crossover and experimenting with like live instrumentation.
No, I've done it before. I've done it like once or twice, and I'd definitely do it again, but I wouldn't do it for every show because at the end of the day, I'm a rapper. But I guess more of like, I love doing mixed genre shows is where it's like the rap scene and like another scene working together. So like me and another rapper and like 2 punk bands or 2 metal bands and like Pensacola.
That's such a cool crossover too.
Yeah.
Because you're getting these genres and I mean clashing them and creating something that's just really cool.
Yeah, and
even
especially
more
when like
even
when
more
we're in
of a
Alabama
subgenre.
and we're like that house show we did, they brought in a door. Like some people that came brought a door to break in the living room. So they brought a door to break in the living room. And then we punched somebody in the face, and like when you're working with punk bands and shit that are super, they're giving that energy, and then the rappers are sitting there and like we'll break shit, we'll punch people in the face if they want to get punched in that fucking face. So it's just like when both of these genres come together and they're bringing that energy, it just brings off a pop off like that. And I think it works really well together.
I gotta ask, how do you set someone up to get punched in the face? Are they sitting still? Because I saw on your Snapchat that you punched someone across the face, and he was just sitting there like he had his face leaned out
So,
like that.
He's came to a few shows before, and like when he came to a show in Alabama at Shady Nasty's. Shout out Shady Nasty's when the DIY venue was open.
Right.
And he was literally like, he took the mic. It was just like, I thought he was just some drunk guy. He took the mic and he was like, if I'm not in the fucking hospital by the end of the show, I'm disappointed. And then I think that show, every act there punched him in the face and shit. And like, he's super punk. And I mean, the whole shout out Mobile and all Alabama, it's a super punk scene. And they're just down to do that shit. So like, he'll find us if he goes, like if he finds us at a Brax show, he'll be like, yo, bro, you want to punch me in the fucking face again? And it's just like, sure, man. Why not? Why not?
So he was just like bleeding all over the place. Black eyes.
No, that's because they were moshing in the living room, which is kind of crazy to say. Moshing in the living room.
That's crazy.
And yeah, they put a hole through the fucking trailer we did it in.
God, you did it in a trailer?
Yeah, it was in a trailer. We broke.
Dude, it must have been musty as hell in there.
It was
bro.
small as fuck, but it's like it was low key kind of the size of the whole room. Like
this
the size of this room, maybe a
this
little bit larger
is,
than this.
This studio is not.
Yeah, it wasn't
too
that big, but we were like in the corner. Like imagine right behind you, there was like a PA system right here.
Okay.
And then this was where everybody was moshing, and the PA speaker definitely got hit. People got kicked in the face. They were throwing each other around. They had a window that got broken, and then somebody got thrown, and they put a hole through the building, not like through the wall, but like through the outside of the wall too. So we had to fix all that shit in the morning. But yeah.
Well, hold on. How do you fix a broken wall by the morning?
We went to Home Depot and we bought a wood panel for like $11, and then chopped that bitch into 2, and then put one on the window, and then put one on the wall.
Oh my god!
And then wood glued it. I mean, it works.
Is it still up? Do you know?
Yeah, it's still up. We were over there. I had to go pick up my homie Downer for that Starkville show, and so we all met up in Daphne.
You just had a collab with him, didn't you?
Yeah.
All right, we'll get into
We just
that.
dropped Left 4 Dead with him, and then I like to do Take Me Like My Last Breath with him, or Take Me But Not My Soul.
How'd that collab? How'd that happen?
I knew Downer, so I have a homie named Shooter's Inferno in Georgia, and I met Downer through him because me and Shooter were cool, and him and Downer were cool. So it was just like a mutual thing through Instagram. And then Downer was in the Pensacola scene for like a year or two, or a few years before me. Sorry, excuse me.
You're
and
good.
he started going straight to the internet. And so where I transitioned from the internet to live, he went from live to the internet. And then I came in and I started doing shows over there, and I brought him because like I knew him, and I was like, yo, let's do some shows, etc. And so here we are, where Downer's back in the live scene, and so yeah.
What drew you to his style?
I fuck with Downer because he has his own sound.
Like he has a certain vibe.
Yeah, that's what like everybody I'm around. That's kind of my goal. Is like the people who you're around is creative competition, or not even competition, but it just encourages you to make more. When everybody has their own sound, it's like, hey, everybody's doing their own thing. I want to do my own thing too.
So if you two got your own sound, what did you hope to bring to that track together? You know, what vibe were you trying to make happen?
I mean, it just depends. For that one, it was definitely, I remember I made that whole song, and I sent it as an open to him. But Take Me Like My Last Breath was definitely, I forgot what it was about. I think it was about some shit. I was fighting with somebody. I think I was fighting with my mom at the time. It was just some shit about that. It was just like, I have a lot of shit about, like, I don't know. I be feeling like I'm failing all the time. Even if, like, I'm doing stuff and I'm always moving, I feel like I'm stagnant or I'm always just going downhill. So it's just like, take me like my last breath.
But
or
why?
carry me as I go. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why. I just feel like I'm failing.
Man, you're doing great, man. You're on the Teenage Delirium tour, man. You're traveling. You got fans. You're making great music. You got people that care about you, man. On that note, like let's just get into the Teenage Delirium tour because like I feel like there's a lot that we can get out of that, you know, and that live energy, especially that live energy, because you just performed in Starksville, you know.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? What stood out about that crowd?
I never been up there before, and we worked with, shout out Snake Mirror, but we definitely worked with an alternative indie band, and I love working with them. But next time we go up, I definitely stick with like more of a heavier sound, just because we have heavier antics where I'm jumping around and shit. It's not as much as like sitting there singing like I do R&B or something like blues or something. So I definitely go up there with a heavier crowd, but I fuck with everybody heavy, and they definitely like the DIY thing we did, because we went up there and instead of breaking shit, because that's what I learned in Homa too, is that not everybody wants to break shit. So when it's more of a laid back crowd, we like get more creative with it, where we went and got a bunch of shirts and we got some spray paint. We did our own DIY merch, just throw out for free. So it's always just about doing something creative. But I mean, they fucked with it. I like everybody out there. It's super dope crowd. Shout out fucking Starksville.
What's been the best energy that you've had on tour?
Pensacola.
The best crowd?
Pensacola or Mobile.
I know
Definitely
Pensacola's really been giving you some love,
Yeah,
man.
it gets wild over there. It gets fucking wild in Pensacola. We be doing some crazy shit. That's the first time we brought out anything like really break. That's when we started bringing out furniture. It was for Cece's birthday.
So when you say you're bringing out furniture, like you're traveling with the furniture to Pensacola?
No, it was more like we'd get to Pensacola and then we'd find some furniture there.
Gotcha. So,
Shout out Facebook Marketplace.
I was just gonna ask.
Yeah, I'll just say,
You
yeah.
get it just for cheap, and then you just
Nah,
mess
bro,
it
you just
up.
look for free shit on Facebook
Oh,
Marketplace.
okay.
I'll come get this off your hands real quick.
No, that's really cool, and very creative. Bringing things to a show, furniture to a show, just for the crowd to destroy. I feel like that's very interesting. A very unique selling point for one of your live shows. You know.
Well, it's because also, like, I'm a rapper. I don't have a live band. And when you don't have a live band, it's not like it's just one person up there, which is why, like, if you're a rapper, you can't just sit there in one place and sing in one place. Like, you need to move around. You need to engage with the audience. Your job is to entertain. You need to fucking entertain.
For someone that hasn't seen your live show before, you know, how would you describe your stage presence and the energy that you bring to a live show?
I wouldn't say it's like punk as fuck, but I take my own spin on it. I definitely try to be heavy with my antics, and I definitely try to get around, move around the room and shit. And, you know, my job's to entertain, so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do my job, and I'm trying to entertain people and make sure everybody's entertained.
What's the long-term goal?
The long-term goal is to just be able to freely create and do what I want to do. Like, I don't want to be, it doesn't matter to me if I'm super famous on some shit, but as long as I'm able to, like, live and create, like, I don't care if I'm living in a small apartment or some shit, or, like, a small house, or, like, a one-bedroom, one-bathroom, I don't care. As long as I can, like, freely create, that's all I care about. I just want to be able to create and express and do the art that I want to do.
What's not confusing to me, but what's definitely on my mind is how you went from being an artist as a drawer to you know, translating that into music.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, how does that happen? How did that happen for you?
When I was a little kid, I used to, like, I had a bunch of shit going on because, like, my parents were together and shit, but I just had a bunch of shit going on. And I didn't do music at the time. And so, like, I just drew a lot because my mom, before she, like, started not doing art no more, she used to be a painter. And, like,
Okay, cool.
she went to school for graphic design, and she was super into art. So that's what got me into art when I was younger. And then she slowly stopped doing it. And so I just always drawed and sketched and stuff. And then when I got older, or as I got older, I slowly started, like, stop drawing. And, I mean, I still draw and I do my sketches and shit because, like, you know, I got to do all my work myself. I'm a one-man army. So I'm still like doing my own sketches, and like if I have ideas, I'm putting it down on paper. But for the most part, I slowly stopped like sketching and just daydreaming in class and stuff, because it was also like, I'm not, if I sit there and daydream, I'm not gonna get shit done. So like low key drawing, I fuck with drawing heavy, but I wasn't trying to be, when I got older, I wasn't trying to be an artist like drawing wise. I was trying to make music and like do this shit serious. And so like in high school, especially, I stopped drawing. I really got into music because I was like, okay, let me take this shit serious, because we were blowing up, not blowing up, but like it wasn't 1,000 monthly listeners and I'm doing shows everywhere. It was like, okay, we went from having like 500 monthly listeners to like 8,000 because this whole genre or this subgenre is blowing up. So let me try to take this serious. And like, I know this subgenre is not going to be popping forever, but what me and a bunch of artists did was, hey, we were all part of this genre. Then we kind of broke out of this genre and had our own sounds. Or like, I had my own sound. My homie VX Jokin, who was part of the scene, has his own sound. And a bunch of people from the scene still, like, they're around, but they just have their own sound right now. So it's just like, you slowly, sorry.
Come on,
I'm trying
man.
I'm trying to think about it. It's just been a long.
Yeah, no, it's late too, bro. It's a
No,
Wednesday,
it's
middle
just
of
been
the
a
week.
long. It's been a long fucking journey. It's been a long, like 5 years. I mean, if you want to
feel
get into
you.
crab claw, it's technically been like 8, because I mean, Brax been a thing for 2025. It's 5 years now.
Right.
But it's definitely that journey between finding your own sound with everything, and definitely expression where it was between the daydreaming and like I drew a lot to not pay attention in class, and then it went from like, hey, let me not just draw, let me like take this music shit serious instead of sitting there in class drawing. Let me like figure out how I'm gonna get these shows and what I need to do to start marketing myself and like putting myself together and finding my own sound and creating my own image and brand.
How was that process like when this subgenre just started popping off and you decided like, okay, I'm gonna start marketing myself? What strategies were you trying to employ when you were just starting, and how effective do you think they were?
What I recommend to artists is because we did aesthetic rap, but I always tried staying true to myself, where even when I was doing aesthetic rap, it was still self-journalism in a point, or I was still like doing journalism on how I feel. I was still doing self-journalism. So it was shit. Damn, it's been such a long day. Sorry. But it was definitely what was the question again? Sorry. It's
Yeah, the subgenre, you know, the way that you were employing strategies to help market yourself when you were first starting off, when your subgenre was
okay.
really popping.
Yeah, no, it was popping, but what I did was I was still doing aesthetic rap, but I had a list of like 5 or 10 things that made Brax music Brax, which is like the journalism, I talked about a lot about my alcoholism, like especially during that time, because that was a current problem at the time, was my alcoholism. So a lot of it was about that, my substance abuse, the depression, and I was really bad with psychosis at the time. I didn't know what day was what. Every day Lukey felt the same, and I didn't really know if I was real at a point. So it was definitely like all that I wrote, because my music is just self-journalism, and so at the time I was going through it. I mean, I'm still going through it. I have my moments, but it's not like it was when I was younger. So it's just like I'd have variables of like what makes me me in a sense in my music, or what can relate to me. And even though I still did aesthetic rap, while the genre slowly went down, I planned out, or more like to branch out or just to get out. I wasn't going to die with the genre. And that's what a lot of us did. Nobody was going to die with the genre. So everybody planned for what's going to happen next after the genre dies out. Because, I mean, it's what happens. Genres don't last forever, or they don't stay peaked forever. You know what I mean?
Right. What's been the biggest lesson that you've taken away from this tour?
Just keep it pushing. Keep it pushing. There's bad days and there are good days.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, so yeah, tours have I say this all the time. Tours have the highest highs and the lowest lows. You know, what do the highest highs look like for you?
The highest highs were definitely the Wrist Meets Razor show when we did our first sold out show in Pensacola, which was really dope because I only did one show at Subculture before, and it was like my first show in Pensacola. So this was like 6 fucking people. First show ever, like a year or 2 ago in like April. 6 people there, and then, you know, I've been out there for a year, and then to go back and to go back and it's like a sold out show, and this is my first sold out show ever.
So that's a big milestone, man.
Yeah, and so for it to
that.
be like in the venue where it was my first show in Pensacola and it was 6 people, and then to come back for my second time and do a sold out show is just like, what the fuck?
Right. That must have been so exciting for you, man.
Yeah, no, it was definitely awesome. Shout out Sungrass, shout out Conflict of Interest, Pensacola Artist Collectives, Wrist Meets Razor, all them. I fuck with Pensacola heavy, man. It's a super dope scene, super tight community.
Not too far from New Orleans either. It was 3 hours?
3 hours.
That's not bad at all. You know, to have dedicated fans 3 hours away that you know you'll sell out shows. You know, when you're selling out shows, you know, man, that must be like a whole different like type of high that you get off of.
Nah, yeah, it was definitely crazy because it was like that was the first time I've seen so many people in a room. Because like the shows that I put on where it's like just the rap scene and stuff or like 1 or 2 bands, it's like 40, 60 people, but everything's super DIY. Shout out Cece, but it's outside to where we're doing it in like a DIY environment, but it's still outside in a field. But to be in like a closed room where it's 125 people and they're like shoulder to shoulder because it's packed out like that, it's like, what the fuck? And while you're doing the whole thing, you're covered head to toe in blood. It was awesome, bro. I love it. And I love Pensacola. Everybody likes breaking shit. It's always fun. We get to break shit. I like breaking shit, so.
Well, you've been on the road a bit now. You know, any wild tour stories yet, aside from, you know, breaking everything inside of a trailer?
Yeah, in Starkville, Downer actually dislocated his shoulder, and we had a whole hospital trip. Didn't get home till like 4. Yeah, we
That's
were
fun.
drinking, smoking cigarettes, and then he walked down the stairs, and it was raining, and he had slides on that were all like a little torn because we were walking out or some shit. They were just all a little torn up, and so he slipped. He tried catching himself. All he heard was boom. And
You
his
heard the
shoulder
bone
popped
come
out of
out?
place. Yeah, you heard the
Yeah.
pop. And
That
you heard it
pop.
come
Oof.
out of place, and we had to go drive to the hospital. It was a whole little trip.
Dislocation.
And-
That's when it comes out of the socket, huh?
Yeah,
Oof.
yeah, and then they had to pop it back in. He didn't break it though.
Good.
Shout out Downer. Still did the show in a sling.
Oh, that's sick,
Yeah, bro, he
bro.
dug that shit out.
I love seeing artists come on stage like when they're like when they obviously like are in pain or like they pull
Yeah.
up like in a wheelchair. Like I always find that to be very inspiring. Like or you can get it done. So maybe a crazy fan interaction. You've had any crazies come up to you after shows or during your performances?
I mean, what do you mean as like crazy fans?
Well, it
It's
could mean
I
like
mean,
a
I guess
lot
the-
of different things.
I guess the craziest thing is like the homie asking us to punch him
Punch
in
it,
the
I
face.
can-
I was just saying.
yeah.
I feel like that would
That's
look be the
true.
craziest thing. That or like during we were because the DIY show in Daphne for the show was on like it was in a trailer, but it was on this like hill, so it was a little hard to find. So me and one of the homies who were doing the show were sitting there like pointing people in, and all you hear is the window roll down and said, "Yo, I got a fucking door." And I'm like, bro, what? And he's just sitting here
They're just
pointing
always
to the
trying to break
back. And,
stuff.
yeah, he's just got like a fucking old guitar from
Oh,
like Toys
man.
R Us and fucking a wooden door and shit. I'm just like, okay, I guess we're breaking shit. I brought a bat.
What city didn't you expect to love you but did?
Low key, I feel like I wasn't expecting a lot from Mobile just because I feel like Mobile didn't have a bunch. Does that make sense?
What a bunch of what?
Like venues and stuff.
Oh,
Because
gotcha.
there's like 2 venues, but they're all 21 plus, or you gotta like pay to get in,
Mm-hmm.
like to rent out the venue. It's not like splits. But they had Shady Nasties, which was a DIY venue, which is why they started having a DIY scene. But I love it out there, and I definitely wasn't expecting as much love like the first time I went out there, and like even now it's just kind of crazy to think that Mobile has this like tightly connected scene like that. Like there's an actual scene out in Mobile, and like you think Alabama, you don't think of like a small rap scene.
Yeah, I agree with
Yeah.
you. You definitely don't think that. You think like Southern rock or something, you know?
Yeah.
But
You're thinking Sweet Home Alabama.
yeah, exactly. But man, when you're traveling out and you know you're getting on the road, are you driving yourself? Do you have a team with you?
Yeah, no, I drive myself, and at most, I mean, on some trips, I'll bring the homies, or like a homie, not even the homies, I'll bring like one homie, and like that's at most, or if we're going somewhere and it's like me and an artist, like for March 7th, I have Snow and Lord Fishface from Houston, they're coming to stay with me for a day, and then we're all just driving straight to Pensacola.
Got you.
But
Well,
it's always just either me or like 1 or 2 people.
What about that LA trip? You drove all the way to
Nah. For LA, I'm flying.
Gotcha.
But low key, I'm a little scared right now with all the planes crashing.
It's been aviation is definitely the safest way to travel, but these commercial airline incidents are it's a little crazy.
Yeah.
We haven't seen numbers like this in 40 years.
Yeah, it's a
Did
little
you
spooky.
did you see the Delta plane? I think it was called CJR or CRJ, something like that.
Was that
It
the one that was upside
flipped
down?
over on its head?
Yeah, in
Yeah.
like the frozen lake or something?
Yeah, I mean it was landing at an airport, it was on the runway, but when it was landing there, I don't know if there was a wind shear or if it was like the landing gear, but man, there was just a ball of fire and it just flipped over.
Damn.
Everyone
Just
survived.
no explanation?
No, I mean, surely there's an explanation. I
Yeah.
just don't know what it is, but everyone survived. Man, and you got the plane that crashed into the helicopter.
Oh, yeah. I
Bro,
heard
like,
about that.
what
That
is
shit was
going
crazy.
on?
Yeah, especially like, how's there not enough time where like somebody doesn't see each other at first? Like, how does the helicopter
It's,
not see the plane, or the plane not see the helicopter?
What was interesting about that was the ATC, Air Traffic Control Center. It was severely understaffed that night, which why?
Yeah.
It's like, what? That makes no sense. They're coming in. So there's I don't know if that's been explained yet or why, but that's what I've heard of it last. But yeah, man, it can be a scary thing, especially when you're up there and you feel like you got no control over like what you're doing.
Definitely.
You're definitely putting your trust into someone
My
else.
first time going out there, I really thought I would have because I low key have a fear of heights. Like
Okay.
standing at a tall place, jump down from a tall place. But like I thought I was on that plane, I was gonna have a fear of like heights because you're just so high up there. But
Yeah.
I feel like it's not that bad when you're like in the plane. But for California, what really saves my ass is I got lucky, and when I was young, I had a lot of connections on the internet that were from Cali, and then I've done shows with them. Shout out Kenji and Zedrin and all the homies. But yeah, that's just I fly up there, and then I'll try to crash at the friend's house for a little bit, and I'm not up there for like 2-3 weeks because I'm not gonna couch there for 2-3 weeks and test my luck. But like, we go out there for a show once a year. That's kind of my goal right now. Where I don't want to branch out over there because I don't have the money to fly back and forth to Cali like that. It's
Gotcha.
like so it's just like I want to do it once or twice a year.
You know about the Frontier program?
Nah, what's that?
Bro, listen, if you pay like $3.99, I believe it's for 6 months or a year, you pay $3.99 straight to Frontier. They have a program where you can do unlimited flying all over the country.
Facts.
As much as you want. So I mean, you could that's definitely worth looking into, especially if you're an artist that's really trying to get around as much as possible. And to allude back to the safety of planes, man, really the most dangerous part and the most dangerous time in the flight is 2 to 3 minutes of taking off and 2 to 3 minutes of landing. But studies show just like when you're in air, you're good. Like it's gonna be fine. But yeah, man, I used to have a really big fear of planes, so just I had to figure out like all these facts and everything that consoled me, But let's get back to the music. Actually, here's what I want to get on. Let's talk tats. Let's talk tats because I know you got some ink. I see the ink. Oh yeah,
God.
man. What's your most meaningful tattoo? And what's the story behind it?
I'd say if we're going most meaningful, I have 2006 to Death, which kind of brings up the whole autobiography, where I wouldn't say, like, I don't know if I'd kill myself or not, but, like, the whole thing is, like, I mean, life's literally a story. And, like, I have the 2006 to Death.
I'm not gonna lie.
Like,
Every time you say that, I have no idea how to respond to that.
yeah, I
It's
get
like,
it.
bro. Like,
It's like, yeah, bro, it's
you're
like...
you're a super chill guy, bro. Like you have a lot going on for yourself, But continue. You're an 06 baby.
Yeah, I am a 06 baby.
Little young guy over
But
here.
yeah,
Little
no,
young
I'd definitely
guy.
say maybe most important would be definitely this. I have the sign, the crossroads right here, just because it's about choosing your own path. And like, I could just sit on the porch all day, or like, it's a metaphor. Sitting on the porch is just like, I could just give up and just have a regular life and just try not to do what I want to do, or I could just shoot for it, just say fuck it. I mean, what's the worst? What comes happen? I fail.
That's true.
So-
I mean, I feel like it's not always black and white. That there's always gray areas, but that's a very meaningful tattoo.
Yeah.
I hate just like surface level bland tattoos. Like if I see a butterfly on an arm, bro, I'm gonna go ballistic. I'm so tired of it.
I feel that a lot. I started getting tattoos probably a little early. I was like 16 or 17, I think.
That's what's up.
But I started with my suicide awareness one because I was out of the mental hospital and I was just like recovering from like when I was really, really going through it. And I was like, I just need something to remind me. So I have the music note and the semicolon because I mean, music saved my life, and without it, I probably wouldn't be here today. So it's my like foundation of, hey, if I'm always failing and nothing's working out for me, I always have music.
And you got the Mac Miller?
Yeah, I had the Mac Miller because I was telling you about it earlier about the fact that you see his whole life and how I associate with Mac Miller so much because of the self-journalism aspect of him.
If you got one more tattoo today, what would it be?
Actually, I want to get one really soon, low-key. I was going to get one, like, last night. I was going to come here and, like...
Are you impulsive with it, or are you, like, you plan them out?
I mean, I sit on it, and I think about it for, like, 3 to 6 months before I'm like, okay, I'm really going to get this tattoo. Because, like, it's still... To me, everything needs to matter still. So, like, the DIY matters. This, all has meanings. Death has meaning. Because sooner or later, you're going to die. It's just a reminder.
Oh, that's cool. Where do you get your tattoos done?
Shout out John at Big Bad Tattoos, or John at Big Bad Tattoos. I forgot his Instagram. Something like that. But it's at Wicked 13 Tattoos on the West Bank. Shout out to him.
You been by Raven's Nest Tattoos on the West Bank?
Yeah. I got that's where I have a Morte right here, and that's who did it over there. She did it that one for me.
That's really cool.
And then I'm finna get a tattoo by the homie Chris, who I went to high school with. I want to get the state just because that's where I'm from, and then I want to get a 504 somewhere around here.
Man, one thing about you, bro, you definitely like, you have love from your roots, bro. Like you have the love for your roots. Like you're constantly shouting out people, bro. Like it's very clear that you love what you're doing and you love the music that you're working with.
I mean, it's all love and everything. Like music itself is a community, and without everybody here, the music scene wouldn't be the music scene. Like without the talk, there wouldn't be a media page, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when there's 3 or 4 media pages in New Orleans, them 3 or 4 music pages matter.
Appreciate you. And you know what? We're just getting started. Like we got Grammy winners on the way. We have Tank from Taking the Bangers who just won a Grammy for spoken word poetry. I mean, it's just there's a lot in store in this community. In New Orleans, it's seen as like not much infrastructure is going on here with the music industry, but man, like it can happen. You know?
Yeah, no, it can definitely happen, but everything happens so fast because what we were talking about earlier, the New Orleans scene has a play with the college scene too. Where a bunch of, especially because like Loyola is a music school and a school for arts and shit. So there's a bunch of people coming in from out of state and playing an influence or an influx on the New Orleans like music culture and scene. But then you're going back and forth to where they're here for a few years because they're in college, which isn't bad and it helps the scene, but they're not here forever. So I feel like the New Orleans scene is constantly always moving or changing.
Yeah, man, absolutely. You know, and as it should, you know, because like, we just got to evolve together, but definitely, of course, always pay respect and homage to, you know, the roots, you know, like the jazz, the trad music. Absolutely. I mean, that's always going to be here, you know, the second line parades, you know, but let's get over to Chad. It looks like Chad's asking some questions. We got a question from Stefan. This question is for you, Brax. What is your favorite emoji?
My favorite emoji would probably be the zombie or the soldier helmet.
Zombie, okay, like that one?
Yeah, because either way, it's for both of them, it's low-key just like one of them emojis, like, just keep pushing through it, like, you know?
That's
you're feeling worn out, you feeling like a zombie, just keep going, just get it done.
Definitely one of your mottos. What are you have like 3 mottos at least that you just always tell yourself?
I have die for some, which is tattoo.
Yeah.
If we're going, like, talking about music and getting my shit out there, it's spread the rot.
Spread the rot?
Yeah, spread the rot.
I like that. Spread the rot. You got another one?
Shit. Just keep pushing.
Just keep pushing. Yeah, keep it classic.
Keep that shit pushing.
We got another one from Will Loyola. Get a tattoo of Winnie the Pooh. Is this a possibility in the future?
You know, low key, I feel like if I had a spirit animal, it would be a bear.
Really?
So,
like a honey bear, like a black bear?
Maybe like a black bear or grizzly bear, but low key, like ever since a kid, my favorite animal was definitely a panda. So like maybe a panda.
That's cool, man. So okay, let's get back on the topic of music, man. Shout out chat. But listen, let's talk travel, let's talk LA, let's talk self-discovery. You're headed out to LA soon as a part of your tour, of course. What's the plan out there? Are you working on something specific, or is it just networking, or is it just a show?
We're headed out to LA in the summer. We're still trying to get everything worked out right now, but it should be sometime in June. It was supposed to be June 21st, but we had some stuff come up, so we're gonna try to find a new date. But I want to go up there, and definitely, I know I like going up there because there's a lot more tools in California, even if it is pricier. There's a lot more people because everybody goes out there to follow their dreams.
Bro.
So you have a lot more
insane.
tools when you go out there. So for me, I take one trip to California or try to, and that whole trip is about I'm going out there for 3 days, and I know there's a videographer that is one of the best videographers I'll ever find. Like, it's just there's so much tools out there. I'm going out there. I need to use these tools and resources for these 3 days to get shit done.
What have you learned about yourself while you've been traveling and meeting new people? You know, have there been any realizations that have changed how you move through the world?
I'd be nothing without this music shit, low key. Like, I'm a workaholic, and like, my homie, me and Downer were talking about this while we were drinking beers, because we had like $20. We were stuck in a motel in Starkville because they had a tornado siren, and it was almost Sunday, and Starkville got dry Sundays, so you can't buy any alcohol. So we had $20, so we had to get like a big old 30 case of Natty Lights for like $20, just some cheap shit. It was like, I thought there was a separate person between Brax and like Braxton, and like there's this, but like everything I say is I keep it real, and I constantly try to keep it moving, because if I'm not moving, or if I'm not getting 2% better a day, I just constantly feel like I'm stagnant. And I mean, I really think I wouldn't be who I am today, even not like musician wise, but just the person I am without this shit.
Now, looking ahead, I going back to what you said, I do agree with you. It definitely seems like that this is something that this is for you, like this is your purpose. But looking ahead, going back to my question, looking ahead, what's something that you haven't done yet musically that you really want to try?
I want to go to New York. Musically, I want to go to New York, and like I want to tap in with that scene, and I want to get that influence from that like New York sound. And I don't know what that sound is in particular, but I want to get up there, and I want to experience it. I want to see what that sound is, and I want to see the same way that I've gone to LA, and I've gone like to Texas and stuff, and I've worked with people from Texas and stuff. I want to get up there in New York, and I want to see what it's like up there in the north. Because that's like, it's not the next goal maybe. Like, I still want to go to Houston, and Atlanta is definitely up there too before New York, but like I definitely want to get a taste of that scene, because that's what I like about all this shit is I started in New Orleans, but I go to Houston and I get to see how everything's going on in Houston and how this scene is, where Houston's this big scene because it's a large city, and also Austin's the music capital. So you're in Houston, you're in Texas, you're pretty much in your own fucking world, where you could hit Texas, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Austin, and that's that. You don't need to leave the state. But down here, it's like there's Louisiana, and then there's the Gulf Coast scene where it's like Mobile and Florida, or northern Florida, because Mississippi has a scene, but it's not a super big scene. It's a small enough scene that there's a gap between Gulf Coast and New Orleans.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, man, let's, with that being said, to wrap up, let's get any final thoughts. What's coming up next for you, any music that you can tease, maybe? If
y'all want to hear it, yeah, I sent it to you. If y'all want to hear the next drop, we're planning to drop this in like March or May, maybe.
Yeah, let's hear a bit of it. Let's speak on it a little bit.
This is God Forbid.
So let's see. You got it on SoundCloud. God Forbid. Brax. Here we go.
God forbid I'm real, cause everything I know feel fake, and I can't turn my head from my heart and my ways. I can't have no trust, cause you're falling in my face.
Now, is this a YouTube beat that you're over?
Yeah, everything I do is always free for profit beats.
What's the inspiration behind this track so far?
God Forbid was really, and it's what the hook's about. God forbid I'm real, cause everything I know I was fake, or everything I know is fake. I was having a little psychotic episode, or a moment of psychosis, where I was just like, I didn't know it was real. I didn't know what was happening. I just needed to sit down and make something and capture how I felt at the time. So that's what God Forbid's about.
where's the best place for people to keep up with you and they can stay on top of the music that you drop and get, maybe any behind the scenes content?
Definitely Brax from the Grave. My Instagram, Brax from the Grave, DA. Brax Psychosis, the website, is a pretty fun website to go through if you want to see all the merch and shit and like just what we've been up to.
I like the Brax patches.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I fuck with it. I got like one or two more, but they have them at Nola Mix Records. They're in the stores over there. Shout out Nola Mix.
How'd you get them? Do you pay them to keep them in stock, or how does that relationship work?
It's co-assignments. It's we've done a show there like last year. We did a show with Savis. Do you remember New Salem? I don't know if they're a band anymore.
No.
But New Salem and Low Hanging Fruit.
No, doesn't ring a bell.
Low Hanging Fruit's from here, but yeah, they're a Loyola band. Shout out them too. But yeah,
cool.
We did a show over there, and then I just talked to him, and he does co-assignments, and they have like the Teenage Delirium CDs are in Uslid Records, Peaches, and Nola Mix Records, and it's all just DIY, do it yourself, just trying to push it, get my name in front of people.
Brax from the Grave on Instagram, everyone. Thank you, Brax, so much for taking the time to join us here today. You've been a great guest. Thank you for letting us tap into your world, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next for you, man.
Thank you. Yeah, man. No problem.
When I tried it,